it's an honor to be here today. Because you know what, I was thinking about how quick 3 years went by, and I actually had to look at it when Colonel Schiller got here. It was July, I think we said July 8th, 2013, somewhere in that time frame, roughly, right? Yeah. 18th, July 18th, sorry, July 18th. I was close, it's 10 days off, it's all right. But, you know, he really came at a crucial time in the Arsenal's history. You know, it was 200 years, we were celebrating that, so he came in at a great time. But it's also 200 years of not just the Arsenal being here, but a partnership with the City of Waterville and the community. And he really embraced that, you know, the Colonel and his wife and his family, and they really got involved into the community stuff, what was going on. And that's what makes a difference. You know, we started doing Citizen of the Month a couple years ago when I became county executive to recognize somebody that really stands out in the community and does something. And you know, I could talk about the Colonel's military history, everything he's done in the military, which his record is unbelievable. But I want to talk about his leadership here, you know, for the last 3 years, and I'm still amazed that 3 years have gone by that quick. But really just embracing not the command, but the culture here. Because when you look at Waterville Arsenal, you really have to look at the community. And you go back to World War II, when they're at the height of the workforce here of 9,000 people, they, you know, back then transportation wasn't the way it was. So people really lived here in the community. They walked to work, which really, you know, this was like home to them. And in Waterville, the football team here is called the Canning, you know, High School Cannoneers, which really shows you how everything intertwined in the Arsenal run, the parades that the Colonel comes to. But we do an honor vet, and the Colonel's there every month. And we do a deceased veteran every month, and we recognize them for their service, what they did. And he's always there. And the Arsenal's always there. And if the Colonel's busy and he can't be there, a representative from the Arsenal's there. And to me, being county executive, it really shows the commitment that Waterville has here. And the fact that, you know, you've just got a $15 million new contract, adds to the $35 million that you've gotten over a year, speaks to what's going on here, because I don't know if everyone's watching what's going on in the Pentagon or in our budget, and we talk about deficits. Military always gets cut first. When, you know, even though we've been at the height of a war in this country of ours, people don't realize it's the longest war we've been in. It's been over 14 years. You know, I do want to say, Colonel, I am truly going to miss you. I know you're leaving in July. I wish you luck in your retirement. He's going to work right away. I thought he should enjoy himself a little bit, but he's going to go right to work. And, you know, we're going to miss an asset here, somebody who really embraced not just the command here, but the culture of Albany County and the culture of Waterville.
Colonel Schiller's the third colonel that I've had the experience of working with here, and most of the people in this room have had the experience of working with many more. And you can come here and you can do an outstanding job focusing on the mission of the Waterville Arsenal, the workforce here, and never have much of a presence outside of the gate. And one of the things that I've focused on since being with the Arsenal Partnership now for 7 years, wow, is making sure that the presence and the impact of the Arsenal is recognized by the folks, not just here in the city of Waterville, but throughout the capital region, throughout the state of New York, and even across the country. And Colonel Schiller has been a tremendous asset in helping us to do that and going beyond what we could ever accomplish as, you know, the Arsenal Partnership by being so actively engaged in the community. The county executive touched on the honor vet programs, and I had some conversations with Joe Turcotte in preparation for this. He had some data. You know, the Arsenal's all about data. So he had data. By the time Colonel Schiller retires from this post in July, he will have participated in more than 180 community engagements over the brief 3-year period that we have him here. And that's extraordinary, because that's in addition to his job. So that's really a tremendous effort to promote the good work that's going on here in Waterville. And it's in all types of areas, mainly though centered on honoring the men and women who have served in the armed forces and you know, made that sacrifice so that all of us can enjoy the quality of life that we're accustomed to. You know, the support for community events is very visible. Uncle Sam grave ceremony in Troy, City of Waterville Memorial Day ceremony in Veterans Park. you name the veterans events, whether they're centered around Veterans Day or the things that occur throughout the calendar year, from places like the VA Medical Center in Albany, and one of my favorite events is when they go back down to my old stomping grounds at the state capitol and advocate at the New York State Senate's annual Veterans Hall of Fame ceremony. So it's great to see that external effort here. It generates so much goodwill, so much positivity for what all of us are trying to accomplish, all of us who work with inside the fence. And we're used to it, so we hope it continues with the successor. But we also need to be, appreciative enough to realize that it's not a given. It's certainly Colonel Schiller and his family have been folks who've gone above and beyond to promote the good work that happens here.
But, first of all, I want to thank the two of you, County Executive McCoy, Dan, for not just this ceremony, but for every ceremony, for veterans, for recognizing people. You're really a county executive that's a man of the people. And we say that every time we go to the event, very genuine and true. And I wanted to thank you not only for what you do for the county, but what you do for veterans and your service alone, serving in the military and his deployments. And it is really nice to have a fellow veteran with me and serving in public service to get things done around the county. And thank you very much. Peter, I'm humbled. I'm completely humbled by this. You're a pro. You got a lot of challenges in what Peter does, but he's a pro. And he just overcomes those challenges and those hurdles, and has really led the partnership to where it's at now. And I really appreciate this. It's very humbling. When I first told my family that this was going to go on, I kind of said, look, I'm going to be Citizen of the Month. Some things are going to start changing around here. The house, people are going to start listening to me and everything, going on kidding around with them. But, I'm not a man that stands alone. I mean, and not only just the people in the room that have been around me for the last 3 years in my entire soon-to-be 28-year career, I would have never gotten anywhere I've gotten without people surrounding me. And it starts with the people I work with, and then it goes to my family. As you get down toward the end of your career, you start to get a little nostalgic. I mean, we've had folks that retire, and you start to get nostalgic. You talk about the best times and things going on. And somebody asked me, sir, were you going to have any regrets? And I said, absolutely not. I wouldn't leave if I had regrets. And you make decisions throughout your whole career. They might be daily, they might be large decisions, but there's two that I will never regret, and that's one wearing the uniform and the woman I married. She can always fall back on those two. And she's pretty special, served herself for 20 years, and we met in the Army, so I owe the Army that. I owe the Army for everything. My children, and they're great. They're great, and thank you very much. Then the last thing I will leave you with, and I think it's appropriate for Citizen of the Month, and sorry to take a little time. Somebody in an interview recently said, what kind of leader are you? And it kind of threw me off. And first of all, I said, yeah, I'm a good one. No, you need a little bit of confidence. You don't want to say I'm not a good one. But I said to him, there's two things I strive on my leadership. One, to be a servant leader, and to be an engaged leader. And to be a servant leader, you got to get up every day. You got to put yourself last. You really do. You got to put yourself last. And I don't mean not taking care of yourself, because you got to take care of yourself. You got to do self-care. But you got to put yourself before the mission, before the people, before all the things that got to get done. And if you're doing that, I think you're a servant leader. And then the other ones, you got to be an engaged leader. And it always reminds me, Teddy Roosevelt left office in 1909. He was traveling the world, a man of the world. In 1910, he stopped in France to give a speech on the citizen of the Republic. And I don't know if people are familiar with the famous quote from that. It's called "The Man in the Arena." And he talked about being a citizen of the Republic, and this was following his presidency, and a very strong message about citizenship. So I was going to read you "The Man in the Arena," in 1910. It could be, citizen man or woman, and just read you that quote from "The Man in the Arena," because I think it settles well about talking about being engaged, not just being an engaged leader, but being an engaged citizen. And I'll tell you right now, the entire country's engaged. So I wanted to just read this quote to you. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how strong the man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly. So that is his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. And I think Teddy Roosevelt hits it right on the head, certainly the message of being a citizen and someone that's engaged. Thank you very much. I'm very humbled by this. Thank you for all being here for this and being a part of the ceremony as well. Thanks to my family again.
So a coin from the county. Sir.
Colonel, I think it'd be only appropriate if we read this last proclaim to you.
Okay. Thanks.
And it's, whereas Colonel Lee Schiller demonstrates the importance of dedication and determination through his many accomplishments and continues to help to serve the citizens of our nation. And therefore, I do hereby proclaim that the residents of Albany County honor Colonel Lee H. Schiller, Jr. as Albany County Citizens of the Month, and it's witnessed today, 12th day of April 2016, Daniel P. McCoy, Albany County Executive. Congratulations, Colonel.